My boyfriend went soft during a BJ and started crying. So we finally started doing oral stuff, my LDBF and we were really excited to get in each other's pants. He's been really enthusiastically eating me out, and though I haven't come yet, I've gotten close and I think he's doing a great job. Problem is he has really severe performance anxiety. We haven't seen each other in almost 2 years due to COVID, family, work, etc. Even though we have been friends for nearly 8 years, I think both of us were really nervous to get to the sexual aspect. In that sense, it's affecting him a lot, to the point that he's losing his erection when I start blowing him. He struggled to get it up the first few days. Last night he got a really good erection after making out, eating me out, and lost it when I started blowing him. Like it's to the point he's not getting close enough to even get pre-cum. I asked him if it was my technique, even though when I blew him a few nights before he told me I was good. He said it wasn't me and that what I was doing felt good, that it was him and his anxiety. He started tearing up because he felt he had disappointed me, and I kept telling him I wasn't and I was just happy we were comfortable enough to be at this point and that I was happy to see him. How can I help him tonight? This is his last night here and I really want to blow him to completion, but I feel like especially BC it's his last night, he's gonna be really anxious. Is there anything y'all have done to help him get and stay hard? Edit. No, he is 100% not gay and no, I will not suck your cock. Stop with the messages. Update. We decided we wanted to cherish the rest of the time we have together instead of being stressed and spent the night cuddling and laughing. Not a sexual one but a happy ending, I would wager. We are LD as we are students. No, we will not be breaking up. Yes, we spend lots of time together outside of anything sexual and have many in-person memories. We will work through this with some time and love. I have faith. I'd say have zero expectations about tonight. Just enjoy being together, because if you have pressure on yourself or him to perform sexually, then his anxiety will just be out the roof. That's what I told him, but he still feels like he's disappointed me, loudly crying. If it helps, I experienced sort of similar issues. Everyone shows their problems differently. What you need to do is give him some room and not focus on sex for now. From my experience, any kind of forced sex just does not work. So just let sex happen. You know what guys actually want sometimes? Being cuddled. Being allowed to exist somewhere completely safe and cared for just for a very short time. Be warned, though. I think he never really experienced such an open behavior and could fall into disbelief or something, but trust me, once it clicks, he'll love it and will probably cry. That is fine. Just be there for him when that happens. This releases all the built-up stress. You might have heard the quote, sex is the most beautiful accessory in the world. Sex comes along by itself, with all the extras. There's even sex without actual sex or orgasms. Sex is communication. Let it happen, don't force it. Both of you. Become happy, both of you. Oh, sweetheart, it's not you. Not you, at all. My ex-husband struggled with this early in our relationship. It got to the point that he couldn't even masturbate. I was more experienced than he, and so he overthought it, that's all. So, I backed off him completely. I didn't do anything remotely sexual for several weeks. We snuggled and kissed, but he knew that's all we were doing. It took him a while, but the words that helped the most was, baby, I'm more experienced with other people, but not you. Every couple has to learn each other, so we're still both learning how this works together. It's awkward for me too, and I know I look nothing like a performing porn star. This is new for me too. Let's be awkward together, and we did just that. We put on a porn and attempted to do what they did, and instead of being all serious like the orgasm was some sorta antidote to death, we laughed and laughed at the silliness of us trying to perform. He did get hard, but we left it alone. BC, that wasn't the goal. The goal was to deflate any idea that sex performance like taking a pass-fail test for some major orgasm that wakes the neighbors. Try to go in with this mindset. It's not about correcting him, but enhancing a new dynamic that is going to look silly for a long time, maybe forever. My partner and I still crack up at the oddness of it all. Winking face. Best of luck, Op. When I first met my GF, I had a similar problem because she was way out of my league and I was nervous. Making out definitely helped to get the boys back in the game, so to speak. If it goes soft, then just make out with him if you can, or try some other stuff. Grinding on him probably wouldn't hurt. Also, some reassurance won't hurt. Even if he doesn't believe it, it'll get through eventually. Don't ask if you're doing it right though, that would make me feel bad. Say stuff like, "You're doing such a good job," and talk about how much you love doing things to him and most of all how good he's making you feel. Nothing makes me feel better than having my girlfriend tell me I'm good at sex. Most of all, and most unfortunate for you I guess is that it will fade with time. By the third and fourth time I was staying hard through most of it and now it's not a problem anymore. Yeah, you're totally right and I didn't think about the impact my asking him would have. I guess I was afraid he was too polite to telephone me if I was doing badly. I'll take a diff angle tonight. Thanks. Oh, and don't expect him to come tonight. He might and that'd be nice but just enjoy the journey since the finish line might be out of reach for now. Hold his penis more. Just have your hand in his pants when you are watching a movie. Or it might be the big spoon and hang onto that thing. He will ask what you are doing. Just tell him you like every part of him. His penis doesn't need to be locked away like a special team's kicker. Say you might not be in the mood to hang onto it all the time but sometimes. More normalizing touching might help his performance anxiety. Great advice. This is actually very good advice, op. Make him comfortable with you touching him without the pressure of it being sexual and having to climax or stay hard. And be patient. Just keep your hand on or around his dick. Watch a movie, distract his mind and just leave your hand there. From time to time rub it a bit and just subconsciously arouse him whilst watching a movie or something. Make sure you do it on the outside of his underwear. And just do that for a few hours. You'll also be able to tell how he's feeling the more you have your hand on there. Doesn't necessarily have to be to get him an erection, just make him feel like it's normal just like you were holding hands. Then after a few hours or whatnot then you can slowly start rubbing him on the outside of his underwear and he will probably get aroused pretty quickly. Then slowly take it out and play with it slowly is the key. Then eventually make your way down south. Make sure you guys have been watching a movie or something during this because it will give him a bit more of a distraction. The key is comfortably in normalizing your body on his penis. Take it extremely slow with no expectations. Just put your hand in his pants and leave it at that. Rub the inside of his thigh and tickle his legs with the tips of your fingers. It shows a lot more intimacy doing something like this and playing the long game instead of just going for it. If he's not comfortable with your hand on it cause of flaccid size or whatever then just do as I said and just play around his thigh and whatnot. Just soft, slow and passive. It's very affectionate and relaxing. When me and my girl are in bed I lay on my back and she cuddled up to me and she rubs my chest and belly just softly and it's so intimate and after a while she kind of goes lower and lower whilst maintaining on the chest and after a while I get so insanely horny and then when she finally puts her hand in my past I've already pre-came a bunch and I'm so ready for a mouth. So yay, try something along these lines and I'm sure it will help. PLs, let me know how it goes. His anxiety may have many different causes, which may be worth discussing about, but the fundamental aspect is the value and meaning he assigns to sex. It's an unfortunate reality of our culture that men need to be sex monsters to feel masculine. They need to want sex, they need to be good at it, they need to lead, to take, and everything else. But even beyond masculinity, society puts a lot of meaning on sex itself, and so it must end in orgasm, it must feel good, there needs to be orgasm parity, etc. All of this pressure and expectations can become difficult to manage. Even if your boyfriend does not believe in all of this, it is still affecting him, since at some point it inevitably instructed his personal understanding of sex. A good thing to do then is to change the perspective on the situation, lowering expectations and turning sex back to what it is, a fun activity. It might be worth trying to have simple intimate cuddling session, in which you make clear or simply to be close, and if something happy happens, it happens, no requirements, no necessity. It might also be worth considering trying to have surprise, happy moments that happen outside of your pre-established sex routine, like some light groping, handjobs, etc. The point is, obviously, not to harass your boyfriend into orgasm, but to find moments of sexual intimacy free of pressure and expectations. Another idea might be to have selfish nights. You or him may ask for a selfish night in which it is all about your pleasure, or his if he is the one declaring it without the need for reciprocation. I'm a 35Y0 male and I had a bit of a similar issue when I first met my current GF. Only relationship and sex I had previously was with a long-term GF that I lost my virginity to. So when I started this new relationship I had all sorts of anxiety due to the unknown of a new partner and performance anxiety. I couldn't get it up the first 2 times we tried and I was really embarrassed, so I got hold of some Cialis and used a low dose of it, half a pill, and it really helped a lot to maintain an erection. As my confidence grew, I lowered and lowered the Cialis dose over the months, whilst at the same time getting healthier and doing Kegels. I think the ed was mainly psychological, but working on myself and the Cialis crutch all helped get me through, and now me and my GF have great sex without any help. If I was in your position, I would perhaps try some of the above, and do make it clear to him that you do find him sexy, but not in a patronizing way. Who knows, being supportive and working through this together might make your bond even closer due to the common goal. Don't give up. I second this. When I was in my early 20s, my ex-GF had a significantly lower sex drive than me, which is why I developed performance anxiety. I wanted to make the most of it whenever she was in the mood. Additionally, her low sex drive made me feel unloved and my self-confidence dropped. So there were many psychological issues regarding sex. When I occasionally couldn't get it up, I became even more nervous, of course, whenever we had sex, which worsened the circle. Therefore I went to the urologist, who prescribed me sildenafil, Viagra. A minuscule dose was enough to give me a boner I could rely on. When we eventually broke up due to our sexual incompatibility and I found a girl with a comparable sex drive, my performance issues remained at first, which is why I kept taking sildenafil without telling her. But as we had a lot of sex and I felt accepted by her, I started to really be confident that she wouldn't be severely disappointed if I might not be able to get it up sometimes. So I only started to take sildenafil occasionally, when it was a special evening where I wanted to have sex several times. Nowadays I don't need it anymore. However, I sometimes take it when we're doing very kinky stuff or having threesomes, but then it is more like a booster and no enabler. Depending on why he is having anxiety, here is another option. If he is worried about pleasing you, start out talking to one another about what turns each other on. From there, get a vibrator that he can control and use your instructions to get you off. Once he sees can easily get you off, he may have reduced his anxiety that he can't. Step 2 is to use his instead of or in addition to vibrator. Also, if things like rubbing your neck, ears, nipples, ass, calves, thighs, whatever is your trigger, letting him know that most of the things that get you off are not penis related, the two will give him more confidence that he can please you. If he has anxiety because of other abuses or trauma, he may find that he needs to work on that with a psychiatrist or counselor, and that it may be affecting more than just his love life. I know someone who had issues with their past and they had situations where they thought they were blocking out the old drama. It manifested itself in sex, but they didn't think about other issues like work and sleeping. Sometimes off the year they got depressed and it did not occur to them that all of this stuff was linked. They work on that with a counselor and 3 years later they are almost a different person. Lastly, they should see a doctor and see if there is a physical problem that is starting the problem that is then turning it into anxiety when they hit that physical barrier. Let them know you support them, and that you will be there for them whatever is happening, and getting help is a less painful long-term solution, and will benefit both of you. Agree to have some nights where you have sex in every possible way for the sake of pleasure alone. Getting orgasms is not allowed. Tease each other, touch each other, try new things, kiss each other, do erotic massages. If you think you can do penetration without getting off, you can do that too. But you aren't allowed to orgasm. Make it about sensations, intimacy, and finding out what the hottest things are that you can do to one another. Include touching his genitals if he is okay with that, but make sure that it's just about pleasure, nothing else. Get him used to problem-free touch from you. Finding out what sex can be in its broad sense, focus automatically shifts away from penetration-related performance, or the pressure to come. Learning to know how much your partner enjoys just giving you pleasure, makes it easier to relax. Being able to give your partner satisfying sexual experiences without orgasms, takes pressure away from sex in general. I'm not advocating for some orgasm-denying idea. This is simply something temporary, that you can do, to make your sex life more rich, less performance-oriented, and more free. By all means give time to exploring how to make each other get mind-blowing orgasms. Just give each other time to relax and enjoy pressure-free sexy times, when that feels right, too. I realized I had theses kind of anxiety too. I didn't had any problem to get hard but to take pleasure. 69 really helped me because since I was too focused on my partner it helped her pleasure me as well because I wasn't focused on me. The idea of not having any expectation is great too. Also letting the idea that he doesn't need to be hard to be taken care of is great too. If he is soft, ask if he would like to be blown soft. Some girl and guy love this. And it's a great message because it means that being hard is not obligated to have sex. I'd suggest asking him if a BJ feels nice even when soft, and that if it does for my BF at least, to just enjoy _ and not worry so much about getting hard. Can make it an intimate cuddle session instead. Perhaps if he gets comfortable with _ he'll start to get an erection cause he finally lets go of the stigma of not getting it up. Edit. I was not able to come from cunnilingus before the time I had given up, and my BF wanted to go down. And I was like sure, and thinking to myself I'd just forget about coming and just enjoy the sensation instead. Was my first time coming from cunnilingus only.